let's straighten up. Push the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. I'm going to do a little bit of lecture, an explanation, etc., but we're going to kind of try to do this from a place of meditation already. So the meditation can be, the posture can be a bit relaxed. You don't need to be quite as stringent with metta. But you generally want to have the crown of the head pushing up towards the ceiling. That's your hack. That's how you find the posture. The hands can be folded in the lap. Also to do what's called the cosmic mudra. Let me just make sure that you can see me. This mudra right here can be very helpful. So you can just have this mudra like so, and it can be sitting in your lap. Offers a little bit of a feedback loop, kind of lets you know if you're focusing. You want to have the chest up and out just a bit. And then the shoulders back and down just a bit. Have a slight forward tilt in the hips, which opens up the diaphragm for slightly deeper breathing and gives like an optimal curvature to the spine to support the body. And then go ahead and notice relaxation. Notice the body relaxing. You're just sliding into this open, spacious, friendly space. Okay, good. Now, before you, see an easy to love person. This is often like a child, maybe a friend, but somebody that you have a very uncomplicated, loving relationship with. Also, you could use a dog, a pet. Some people don't recommend that, but I think it's fine. So go ahead and think of this beloved object, beloved person or pet. And then smile. And then send them loving kindness. So you're physically smiling on the face, and you're feeling the smile in the body. And then you see your beloved person or pet smiling. And then the phrase that I'll use is, may you be happy. May you be happy. May you be happy. And so just repeat that or another phrase that works for you in your mind over and over. Each time you say the phrase, it reminds you to do the visualization. And both the visualization and the phrases remind you to generate this quality of bliss, loving kindness, ease, relaxation, well-wishing, friendliness in the body and in the mind. May you be happy. 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 Okay, good. So that's how to do the practice. And now we're going to step back and we're going to stay in the meditation, but we're going to do another kind of mini practice. And this will help you get a sense for how to do loving kindness meditation correctly. So again, like we did at the beginning of the class, think to a time where you've received love. Maybe it was an act of generosity, maybe it was a smile, maybe it was a pat on the back, or maybe it was a sweet comment that was said with kind of a light chuckling sweetness. And this is this like kind of seed quality. This is a seed and we'll grow this seed. So we've been the recipient of loving kindness. And now we want to grow it and we want to give it away. And so the practice is largely just going to entail the first half of this practice, where we just see this easy to love person or pet. We're envisioning them. Then we're saying the mantra of may you be happy, may you be happy, may you be happy, or any other mantra or verbalization that works for you, and then feeling it in the body. And it's like touching any of those, either the see, hear, or feel aspect of the metta meditation encourages the others. So it's like striking the bell, and then the sound reverberates, causing more loving kindness, more metta. So let's go back to the first part. Think of this easy to love person or pet. You're smiling, and physically smile. I want you to physically smile. Feel the smile in the body. Now you see the other person smiling. Maybe you're looking them in the eyes. There's like a sense of contact, a sense of understanding, and even intimacy. And then you say, may you be happy. May you be happy. And make the intonation in such a way that it is evocative for you, that it really causes this feeling of loving kindness to arise. May you be happy. Okay, good. So now we're going to come out of the meditation, and I just want to open it up for questions briefly. How did that go? And let's see if we can keep this to 3 minutes or so. How did that go? Are people pretty clear on how to do the practice? And again, the practice will be just sending loving kindness towards the beloved person.
None of my relationships are uncomplicated. So,
Okay.
I mean, I've got my dog, but even then, it's a little different.
Well, if you have problems with your dogs, I can't help you. Well, okay, so this is an imaginal practice. So, you know how it's normally complicated, and you just want to find some way that's just slightly below average complicated. You know what I'm saying? And then just lean into that and kind of feel into that. What would it feel like to have a not so very complicated relationship? And the whole not complicated part is just so that the metta arises more easily. Later on in the practice, and I'm not going to teach it this way, but you actually go to the enemy, which is you have a very complicated relationship with the enemy, and then you work on sending loving kindness to the enemy. So I think it'll be fine, but let me just say this. I really want to hammer this. Meditation is messy. It is a big mess. And so what you're bringing up is part of the messiness of it all. So yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, here's a question. When doing metta, feel a subtle dullness creeping up on me. It accompanies the relaxation. How do I keep my mind clear? So this is very common. Often we're a lot of us are on edge, and we are actually powered through our day by a type of anxiety. So when we start meditating and calming down, the body needs to rest and sleep. So that's what will happen often. So to be clear, you can take a nap. You can do standing meditation. You can do walking meditation. You can do walking metta meditation, no problem. You can, drink a cup of tea, sit with your eyes open, breathe deeply, take your tongue, push it up against the palate of in your mouth, and that kind of somewhat stimulating. Those are some thoughts. Or sit in a very cold room. That can also work. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Tyler.
Cedric, I've been having some codependence issues the last couple of years or so, where I tend to put my self-worth in others and care very deeply what other people might think about me.
Yep.
So I was just wondering, could that possibly be a pitfall for the loving kindness meditation, or does it help with that?
Yeah. Okay. So Okay, well, first off, that you're having an insight, so that's good. It's good that you can see this and that you're alerted to it. Um, so generally speaking, codependence, well, it's often associated with give me a moment, anxious, insecure attachment conditioning from early on in childhood, and it's where we feel like where the messaging of our conditioning has been that just things as they are is not good enough, and you need to really kind of manage the caretaker and the caregiver, and then by doing that you kind of get like the love and care that you need, but it comes at a cost. And so there's like kind of it is a dysfunctional way of relating. In a sense, it is due to a lack of actually attunement, care, express delight from the caregivers, and actually, and this is really awesome, doing metta and then other related heart practices like the ideal parent figure protocol is really, really good. I do that myself. Like that actually giving you what you need. So by doing a lot of metta, you will start healing that aspect of yourself that is actually anxious and feels like you need to like manage others in order to get your needs met. So this will help. And then another aspect that you should be aware of is that these practices need to be balanced with discriminating wisdom. You need to not check your discriminating wisdom at the door. Fully have the mind engaged. No, and this is not a license to become a doormat. You need to take good care of yourself and just kind of be a responsible adult. This is not a license to be kind of all like, oh, loving kindness. Oh, I won't take care of myself. I won't set any boundaries, etc.
Sure. Yeah, no, I figured there wasn't one clear-cut answer for that, so
Yep.
I'll give it a shot this week. Thanks.
Sure. Excellent. Great question. Okay. Anything else coming up?
Cedric?
Yep.
So not to dig too deep, but an aversion that I already felt kind of connects with what we were talking about earlier, where we have a lot of negative thought loops that go on in our head. And
Sure.
even people that I know, like for a fact that I am emotionally connected with and very close with, I automatically still bundle a lot of negativity
Sure.
with it coming from my direction.
Sure.
And my question would be, what would be a succinct like way to try and deal with that, because even like my closest people, I have all of this other stuff wrapped up in there.
Well, actually, so the actual meta instructions that I'm going to give are just to do it on the easy to love object and to ignore all that. And then were you to go on with a meta practice, you would start wishing it for people that you have a more complicated relationship with. So in a sense, we sidestep that whole issue given the way that I'm presenting it now.
Okay, cool. So the instruction would be something like, don't focus on that part of it and try and focus on those parts that you know aren't complicated with that relationship.
Yeah. And also this is why hopefully you're using the easy to love object, the uncomplicated object, is like something like a pet or a child, because things are like for example, my dog, and I have just a very uncomplicated loving relationship with the dog. Like nothing that the dog does really upsets me. I don't take any of it personal. So anyway, but so yeah, we avoid a lot of that by focusing on the easy to love object. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the practice. So straighten up. Push the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And we'll just do one very quick round of breathing exercise. So inhale, the arms up like so. Retain the breath and bring the arms out to the side. Retaining the breath. And then exhale. The hands are coming towards each other and they're going to meet in front of the chest. You're coordinating the exhale with the movements of the hands. All right, and then inhale one more time. Retain the breath, bring the arms out to the side. Exhale. inhale, the hands are coming towards each other. You're extending the exhale. Okay, inhale the arms up again. Retain the breath. Bring the arms out to the side. Now exhale, and you're starting to fold the arms, and the hands are coming towards each other. Extending the exhale all the way. Good. Okay, now come back into the posture, straightening out, pushing the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And noticing this settling. And now go ahead and smile. Physically smile with your face, and smile with the body, whatever that means to you. And now think of an easy to love person or pet. And then start with the mantra. May you be happy. May you be happy. Also even, may you be peaceful, whatever works for you. Just repeating your mantra, seeing your person, seeing them smile. You're physically smiling right now as well. And you can feel the ease in the body. And you can feel the ease and the friendliness in the mind. May you be happy. May you be happy. May you be happy. May you be happy. So just stay with the visualization. Stay with the mantra. And then feel the effects of the visualization and of the mantra in the body and in the mind. And you can even say the person's name or the pet's name. Oh, so-and-so, may you be happy. 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 May all go well for you. Remembering you're seeing your beloved person, you're seeing them smile, you're smiling, you're feeling this ease and friendliness in the body and in the mind. It's very immersive. And also, and importantly, the wish of loving kindness that you're sending to them is reciprocated. And they also want you to be happy. So every time you wish them happiness, it has this positive effect on them. And then it's reciprocated sincerely. May you be happy. May you be happy. Okay, good. So we'll start wrapping up the meditation. But before we do, go ahead and relax the body. Now relax the mind, drop any and all techniques, and look at the mind itself. Noticing the openness, friendliness, receptivity of the mind. Open awareness, the natural state. Okay, good. So may this practice work through us in such a way that others benefit as well. Okay, so we're a little short on time. So we can take question and answer for the next 4 minutes. And then if there's still questions, I don't mind staying on longer, but I want to completely respect everybody's time. You know, the class ends at 12:30 my time, so we've got 3 minutes. So, so people can leave even if we have a little bit more questions. So feel at ease to manage yourself as you see fit. Okay, first thing, let me reiterate the homework. 30 minutes of metta every day. And we're doing a little bit of a kind of piecemeal way. Just focus on just the easy to love object, just that easy to love person. And so you really you want to really get a sense for the mental state of metta mind. So do that 30 minutes a day, probably best as a formal practice. It's okay to break it up in 2 15-minute sits if you want, whatever. Try doing walking meditation and maintaining doing metta. Also, it is in fact recommendable, maybe see if you can continue 10 minutes of see, hear, feel, just to kind of keep that skill developing and maintain it. So 30 minutes of metta, 10 minutes of see, hear, feel a day. And to be clear, you can do the see, hear, feel like when you're driving, when you're walking the dog, when you're cooking, etc. Also, do the micro hits of metta. Like if you see somebody and you know your heart kind of goes out to them, say, oh, may you be happy, may you be well. Another practice that I'm going to recommend, and obviously everything's voluntary, but do 6 acts of generosity a day and then pair that with the metta. And to be clear, the acts of generosity can be very minor. It can be watering your lawn. It can be watering your kitchen plant. It can be doing a slightly better job at sweeping the floor because you know that your wife likes a clean floor, or whatever. It can be extremely minor. And then when you do that act of generosity, couple it with metta. Say, oh, may this be a benefit to this person. Oh, may these plants benefit from this. And man, you'll really see an improvement in affect, in how you feel. One of the most effective ways to positively change your affect is to do acts of generosity. Okay, good. What questions are coming up? Any questions as to what to do?
Well, I guess it's me again.
No problem. It's cool.
So I've struggled with meta a lot. I know it'd probably be super helpful, but yeah, what happens is just everything fades. Like the image I have, I've never been good at visualizing. So I just have like a little wisp of an image, and then that fades. I'm not in tune with the feeling. So I end up kind of just reciting "May Be Happy," whatever it is, and
Yeah.
I can't. Like it just keeps slipping out of my hands, and unlike concentration practice, like it's really hard to get back into. So it's like trying to catch a fish with one hand, I think.
Sure, sure. Okay, Alex, thank you for this question. This is actually a really good question. Subtle is significant, right? And this is, okay, so I want to give you a very, very, very clear metric for judging how successful you are at meditating, okay? Did you sit down and try? That's it. That's the metric. So did you sit down and try your best? And what your mind does, Alex, you are not in control of. Like, right? Like, either you're in control and possibly the stupidest person ever, or you're not in control, because if you were in control, you'd be doing it right. So we have to see the fact that we're not in control, and all we can do is try. And the more patient and kind we are, the better it goes, right? So, so the thing is, just simply sit there, and absolutely, just like you're saying, the images will fade. You'll forget the mantra. The feeling will fade. And maybe the feeling to begin with was extremely subtle. That's all part of it. This is how everybody starts. And honestly, your report is good. It's a good report. So you're doing fine. Even though I know it doesn't feel great.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Yeah, I'll take it. I guess I'll have to. We'll see how it goes. 30 minutes seems like a long time to be flailing around in styrofoam.
Sure. Well, what I'd say is this: is that you can break it up, and then make it manageable, and also do whatever you've got to do to, especially environmentally, modify to where it works out for you. A lot of people a couple of times people have talked about going on hikes and doing see, hear, feel. Something that I do is, like, first off, I'm distracted by screens, right? By my computer, by my phone, by people, blah, blah, blah. So go out in the woods, or go out somewhere away from your phone, away from your screen, where you've got nothing better to do than meditate, where there are no distractions, and then try it that way. Another thing to remind you of, and I don't know how helpful this is, but when meditation is difficult, it's an equanimity practice. You're getting an opportunity to do a practice. Like, okay, so much of equanimity is built only when you don't want the situation to be the way it is, right? Like, there's certain types of tolerance and equanimity that you can only build when you're in a tough spot. And so remember that you're struggling with the meditation and you're persevering is building a skill, and get clear on this, that can only be built under that circumstance. So it's actually a very special opportunity to sit there with the, oh, I hate this, what the hell, to hell with this practice. Like, if that's happening for you, try to remember, oh my God, this is a special opportunity, and just keep sitting. Best you can, right? But then another thing is, if you can't sit, you're too restless, if the mind is too difficult, then give yourself permission to get up and maybe try to do it in a walking form or just however, but just keep banging away at it.
Okay, thanks.
Great.
Give it a shot.
Sure. Good report. Yep. Any other questions? Well, let's see here. Go ahead, Matt.
I was just gonna say, me and him just keep on teaming up back and back, but I feel very similar, and so I think a lot about the same things that he's saying, and I think that insight was like really, really great. Like that the only way that you can get stronger in this aspect if you're put there, it's kind of like, for me, I think about, I can't just get under a bench and bench 200, but the only way I'm going to be able to get up to that 200 if I start at 50 and then move up to 75. And so I guess I would just say, like, I make up rules, and it seems like he does that too, where if he can't meet a certain expectation, then it starts to feel like worthless, and you're like, oh, well, since I'm just wasting my time just flailing in my head, this isn't worth it, and I need other people to tell me, oh, no, that's where actually all the value comes in. I wish I struggled more, because whenever I sit down, it just kind of happens, and I don't feel like I'm really going somewhere. So thank you a lot.
Sure, that's right, Matt. Okay, good. So Tyler says, in case we want to, any tips for going further with the practice this week? You can also, you can stay with first the easy to love object, then go to a mentor. And so if you want to write this down, you can. So first easy to love object, then send it to a mentor, somebody that's been kind to you. Then send it to yourself. Often I find doing like a kind of inner child technique of the adult me sends loving kindness to the child me. Very helpful, very, very helpful for doing loving kindness towards myself. Then the next can be another person you have a good relationship with. Then you can do 3 or 4 of those, people that you have good relationships with. Then a neutral person. Send it to a neutral person, the postman, the person that you see jogging in your neighborhood that you don't know well. Then send it to your enemy. And I often recommend to reflect on how your enemy just wants to be happy, but they've gone about things in an unskillful way. Then you can do a geographic version where you start with yourself. Then you start with all the beings in the room, all the beings in the building, all the beings in the city, all the beings in the state, the country, the world, and then throughout space and time. That's how you can go further with the practice. And then also you can just do more practice. You can do, 2 hours a day. So that's what I would recommend. Yep. Okay, maybe this will be the last. See each moment you realize it's dry or struggle as a win. Yes, yeah, Rory is saying, see each moment you realize that it's dry or a struggle, see it as a win. Absolutely. A moment of knowing what is happening and try again. Okay, I couldn't have said it any better. That's right. Okay. Any other questions or reports briefly before we end? Okay, let's assume not. Okay, hey, thank you all. Also, remember that next week, the next week's class will not happen on Monday. It'll happen on Sunday, but I'll send you all a reminder, and then also I'll send out the video. So, okay, all right, thank you all. Yeah, thank you, Artur. Good to see you. Yeah.
Yes, do you hear me?
Oh, yeah, yes.
I want some report with some troubles with the mic.
Okay.
I involuntarily thought for a moment to this practice of a person who wasn't kind for me, and I feel some, feeling that I want to. I do not want voluntarily experience the same positive emotions to person who kind to me and who wasn't kind. So I want to make that one who is kind to me like higher or make them more special. I don't know, special feeling. Instead of that, I don't know how good I was in this describing. But
okay, I'm afraid I don't understand entirely, but let's see if we can work this out. So, you know what? Yeah, could you try asking the question again? Say it one more time.
Yes. I during this practice, I have a voluntary desire to make wish
Metta.
to person who was kind to me.
That's fine. Good.
In some different way than to a person who wasn't so kind to me.
That's natural. That's natural that you would. Are you saying it's easier for you to desire metta and loving kindness for the person that was kind to you than it is for someone that was not kind to you? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and also it's like feeling of afraid to feel the same kind to the person who wasn't good for me. It's like fear. I don't know, something like that.
Oh, so you're saying there's almost a little bit of fear of wishing metta for someone who was unkind to you. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. This is actually very good. So let's see here how to speak to this. So sometimes we are afraid that if you are kind to somebody, you will let them abuse you. But that's not the case. You should do the opposite. You should develop kindness, but we at the same time, we work on setting healthy boundaries and, if need be, moving away from or getting away from people who are unkind to us. So I just want to be very clear that the development of unconditional loving kindness towards our enemies is not a justification for relaxing discriminating wisdom.